Hello and welcome back to Widowed AF. You're here with me. I'm your host, Rosie Gilmoss, and joining me from Sheffield, I have got Kelly Orme. I've done it already, haven't I?
It's all right. It's fine.
Orme. Kelly
Yeah.
Orme.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, it's like a tradition now, but I get guest name wrong in the intro. Welcome, Kelly, and thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for your lovely message that you put in your application, because you said how helpful you found the podcast, that makes me all warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh,
so
bless.
thank you.
Yes.
Warms my cold
okay.
black heart. So, Kelly, obviously you are joining me because you're a widow, and
Yes.
I know, poor term of phrase really on a widowed podcast, but I know the bare bones of it.
Yes.
So I know that your husband was called Nick, and I know that he died in 2021 from an undiagnosed heart condition.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that was a sudden death for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
it was.
So as a sudden death widow, I feel for you, because while there is no good or bad way to lose somebody, the shock, it just continues to ricochet.
Yes,
six and a half years down the line, I
Yeah.
still feel the shock. So, Kelly, I will stop telling your story for you. And as I said to you before we came on air, this is your opportunity to tell your story, and I'm here to facilitate it. So tell me, let's go back. Let's go back to how you and Nick met. Let's talk a little bit about that if you're happy to. And then we'll get to the depressing death stuff as we go.
That's fine.
We'll touch on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's fine. Well, I met Nick when I was 15 and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was quite young. Nick was 19 at the time. We met whilst I was at my weekend job working for my mum. My mum had a coffee shop. Nick's mum and dad had a retail unit it was called the Craft Centre. So that's how I met. Nick came down to see his mum and dad one afternoon, hungover, and his mum and dad sent him round to the cafe for a bacon sandwich.
And who should be serving that bacon sandwich?
Yeah, so
a little bit of child labour going on there.
So that's how we met. And then a couple of days after that, he turned up on my doorstep.
Oh,
asked me out, and then the rest is history, really. Yeah,
see, to anybody listening under 30, this is how you used to meet people.
Yes, definitely. So yeah.
And were you together ever since?
Yeah.
You were together since you were 15 and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly, I'm so sorry, because
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are. How old are you?
I'm 44.
Oh, so same age as me, Morris. And so you were together for most of your lives.
Yes.
Oh, Kelly,
Yeah.
that's really heartbreaking. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. It's difficult because it's somebody who has been a part of your life for so long.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
Your whole life. Because 15, I mean, you're still basically a sort of what's the word I'm looking at? A fetus at 15, really.
Yeah. I mean, I say 15 and a half because really I was very close to 16. I was just ready for leaving school. So it wasn't really as bad as it sounds. I was probably 16 by the time we went out. But
no judgment here. I mean, don't you worry about that.
The age difference at the time seemed horrendous. And I know my mum was...
Was she really worried?
Yeah, really worried. But yeah, I think as once you get beyond 20, it doesn't really matter.
No, I had a much older boyfriend when I was 17.
Yeah.
He told me and my parents he was 23, I think. This is going back a long time. And then my dad worked in Moscow and we went out to see him. And of course, we had to show passports.
Yeah.
And I just remember my mum going, I've just seen Darren's passport, Rosie. How old is he? And I was like, oh, busted.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. So you guys met when you were, real youngsters, and presumably kind of went and had that building your life experience together, which is not, necessarily always an easy road, but you did, and you got married. And tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we got married in 2003. Just a traditional wedding, really. We were already living together at this point. I think we moved into our first house in 1998. So we'd been together and living together for quite a while. And Nick wasn't a very romantic person. And basically, we got engaged and married pretty much down to peer pressure of friends saying, do you not think it's about time that you did? We weren't, but neither of us were particularly bothered. But yes, we did. And we had a lovely wedding day. Very traditional in the sense of it was a church wedding and all the bits that go with it. And I'd never particularly bothered about children. Not. I love children. My sister's I've got 3 nieces and nephews on my sister's side. So I like children, but I was never bothered about having them for myself. But then something clicked when we got married, and I changed my mind completely. I was absolutely desperate for a family of our own, which it came with its own problems. We were trying for about 4 years to get Holly, which is quite heartbreaking. But we got there in the end. We were just getting ready to sort of go down the IVF route when I found out I was pregnant. So it all happened naturally anyway. So we were very lucky, and we were very blessed with Holly in 2007. So yeah, she's absolutely the highlight of our lives. She's what we live for. She just makes it worthwhile, really.
You're going to make me cry.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her, especially over the last 2 years. She's just been through so much.
How are you spelling Holly? Y or I-E?
It's I-E.
Do you know why I say this? Because John's daughter is called Holly, and it's a Y. And
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be spelling, when I get paperwork, it's often spelled I-E. So I'm just, that's the only reason
I think
asked
that's just
that.
because I'm Kelly with a Y. So it's just,
Makes sense.
just different, I suppose. But yes, she was a winter baby. So yes, Holly was the appropriate name for the.
It was
the only one me and her dad could agree on, really, because we were convinced the whole time that we were pregnant, that we were having a boy. So we'd only really pick boys' names.
Well, we with Tabby, who's my third, we didn't find out, and we thought she was a boy because I'd had 2 boys.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'd have named the child if it was a boy, because we could not agree on a boy's name. I think usually we win anyway, but I'd always wanted a Tabitha. Bewitched. I watched Bewitched as a kid. That's where the name was from. So you have your daughter. You are married. You have a home. You stayed? You from Sheffield and stayed in the area? This is just pure nosiness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We did.
And so for 13 years, presumably life is pretty much as you hoped it. You're living.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a lot of. This is a common theme with my guests, and I genuinely don't think it's rose tinted glasses, because we're all quite matter of fact. We all know that our late partners weren't perfect. Nobody is.
Absolutely not. No,
but often
we did have a lot of upheaval in the interim years. I mean, Nick was very close to my youngest sister, who unfortunately passed away when she was 16.
Oh gosh!
In a motorbike accident, which took a massive toll on us all in 2000.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was a pretty big loss, because she was literally the light of everyone's lives at that point. We all took that really hard, but it's like everything. You lose family members, which is just part of life. We moved house.
Just tell me when that happened. Did you say that was in 2000?
It was in the year 2000. Yeah,
2000.
So we were.
How awful.
It was sort of 3 years before we got married. I think we moved house in about 2004. So lots of normal upheavals and a few not normal. But yeah, we worked our way through it. We got through it like you do, and life carried on. Yeah, really. And you do get yourself into a sense of security. I think you think that life's perfect and everything's trotting along, and we enjoyed his holidays, and as you can hear, we have the dogs.
I've got one myself, don't worry, she may make an appearance.
Oh, I have one that's a very noisy one that doesn't make any noise at all. So they're very chalk and cheese, my dogs.
I could do with one that didn't make any noise, I tell you.
So yeah, up until obviously the worst day.
Well, I feel like I bought you dinner now. I feel I can take you into the worst day. So I am going to just ask you to tell me about that day. I find when people ask me, they often want like real details of timings, and I can't remember them. So please don't worry if you can't remember like exact times or things, because
I'm pretty hazy. I must admit on a lot of the things.
No shit, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty hazy for the last 6 years.
Yeah. It started out a normal day. Nick did quite a heavy lifting job. He worked in a foundry, so he worked in steelwork. So he did a lot of shift work. So the ships that pass in the night was quite often a thing for us. I remember the night
when you've got
the night before he died. I think he'd been on afters, so he'd sort of come in at 10 o'clock. We'd had half an hour chat like we normally did. I went off to bed. Nick would stay up and watch telly and do whatever. Very often when he was on those kinds of shifts, he'd sleep in the spare room so that he got a decent night's sleep. The morning routine, me getting up and getting Holly ready for school, didn't disturb him. So yeah, it wasn't unusual that I'd not spoken to him in the morning or gone off to work and school without talking to him really. I probably expected to get messages about 2 in the afternoon when he'd be just letting me know he's up and ready to go to work. So that wasn't unusual. But yeah, so he'd gone to bed as normal in the spare room. We'd got up, gone to school, gone to work. Holly'd come home it would have been about 3:20. She walked home from school. It's about a 20-minute walk. She'd got home and realised her dad's car was on the drive, which didn't immediately set off panic alarms because often he'd have a day off and not tell us he were off. So she opened the door, shouted him, thought, where is he? Went upstairs into the spare room and ultimately found her dad. She literally had a phone on her, so she was texting me, so I got the mom, and eventually she managed to ring. I knew something was wrong because she's not a panicker. And she said to me, Mum, Dad won't wake up. I've tried to wake him up and he won't wake up. So I just said to her, hang up on me, ring 999, go across to, we had some neighbours that live in the cul-de-sac that were really good friends. I said, go across to Auntie Karen's and just tell her what's happened. And I'll leave work now. So,
and I'm just picturing you having to stay really calm at this point as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So it was just horrendous. From that moment, it was just horrendous. I remember getting in the car, leaving work. I mean, I'm about a 40-minute run home, with some pretty major roads that I have to drive on. I cannot remember that journey home. No. I remember I managed to phone my sister because she works not too far away from where we live, and said, could you get to Holly quickly? I said, something's happened to Nick. And she literally said, yeah, I'm going. I've got my keys. I'm out the door.
I love that. No questions asked.
Yeah,
I'm going.
No,
yeah.
And she went, she came home. By this point, obviously there was ambulance, police. We live in quite a small cul-de-sac. And there was flying paramedic there. There was just, when I pulled up, there were just so many cars and police vans. And I just knew all the way home. I was saying, it's all right. It's just messing about. He'll have passed out. He'll have just been in a deep sleep and she just can't wake him. And
all the bargaining.
He's gone into some sort of like coma. I don't know. Anything.
He's diabetic and we didn't know.
Yeah. Anything that I could think of that I was just panicking. And I remember I couldn't even park the car because the cul-de-sac was just full. I had to abandon my car in the middle of the road on the entrance road into the cul-de-sac. And the police, I think it was a police lady, came round the corner with my sister and basically told me then, while I was out of view of Holly, what had happened. And I just fell on the floor. I just didn't know what to do. So you lift yourself up, don't you? You pull yourself back together. My first thought was, where's Holly?
Yeah.
What do I do? Where is she? And the police said, she's fine, she's with your neighbour, but you can't see her yet.
Oh, why?
We need you to come in and identify Nick's body, which I don't know the protocol on that, but I was...
In those situations, you just do as you're told,
yeah,
don't you?
Yeah. I didn't know what to do. And I walked in the house and there was just police and paramedics, and the paramedic came in and sat down and spoke to me and said that obviously he'd already died. When they got there, they don't know, he'd been passed away for quite some time. So yeah, that was a bit of a shock. And then for Holly, she distinctly remembers that she was sat in the neighbour's house, which has got a direct view to our house, and she saw the paramedics go. They got back in the ambulance and left, and she knew.
A girl. She
knew then that something had happened that was irreversible. And I sat with the police, and they sort of had to do I suppose like a formal interview. with me. I can't really remember any of it.
Do you know what I picked up on? I'm sorry, I'm going to just jump in because it was when you said, I think it was a female police officer. And I thought, this is me. I can't remember the faces of the people that
No,
told me my husband was dead.
no,
Why can't I remember their
no,
faces?
no. It was definitely a female officer that told me, but it was a male officer that did the interview with me. And obviously they had to ask all the normal questions, I
Oh,
suppose, whether Nick had got any mental health issues, whether I'd had any thoughts of him taking his own life. And I said, no, absolutely not. He had suffered with depression, but no, he was fine. He was in a good place. His medication was working. Yeah, we were in a good place. It just came as a complete shock.
they asked me similar questions actually when Ben was missing.
Yeah.
And they searched the house, and you feel, I've actually said this before in the podcast, but it may not know, but I'd bought, this is so ridiculous, right? I'd had this like microdermabrasion powder, and it was like a white powder, and it was on my dressing table.
Yeah.
And I suddenly panicked that they'd think it was drugs.
Yeah.
And I was going, there's some white powder on my, and they were like, like, we're not looking for that, don't worry. And I was like,
Yeah.
but it's not, it's my face.
Yeah.
And
No.
you just go into sort of
Panic
like,
mode. Yeah.
and I couldn't find his passport for 10 minutes. So for like a momentary, there was a flash of, has he? No, of course he hadn't. But
Yeah.
you second guess everything.
Yeah. It was like they picked up his mobile phone that was on charge at the side of the bed, and obviously he'd had missed calls from work and his friends. And yeah, well, not so much me, because it was one of those things. If he didn't
from him, of course.
If he didn't message me, I probably wouldn't have messaged him till I got home. So yeah, even then I thought, yeah, I should have known, but you don't.
No.
The interview was probably quite standard. Not that I've been through anything like that before.
I was going to say, nothing's standard.
First time I've ever come into contact with police in my life.
I know.
But yeah, they took me upstairs. Obviously, I had to identify Nick, which was pretty horrific.
Did he look like he was sleeping? I know that's a bit
yes,
of an invasive
he did look like he was sleeping, but it sort of like got one leg out of bed, one leg in bed. It was covered up, but it just, I think they'd covered him up. So I don't know whether when it happened, it was a reflex. I don't know. It's something we're never going to know.
Unanswered questions.
Yeah, but I remember them saying, "Do you have a funeral home of choice?" And I was like,
yeah.
No,
my phone, speed dial.
He's 46. No, it's not something we've thought about. But I can find somebody who looked after grandparents and my sister when she passed away. So I rang them, and they said, "Well, you can't go back upstairs now until the coroners have been the funeral home have been and collected him, and Holly can't come home until his body's been removed." None of this I really understood. I didn't really question it. But it took a few hours, and it was a few hours now that I look back on and think, but that's not fair. That wasn't fair to Holly, because she was on her own with a neighbour. I mean, my sister did go across to her and said, obviously, that Dad had passed away, and she said, I know. But yeah, it's just stuff that you think about now that comes to light by talking. Like, I didn't know that when Holly rang 999 that they asked her to perform CPR on her dad. And she obviously didn't know, and then she didn't know how to do it. So then she's living with a guilt that.
Oh my! I was going to say, what a weight on her.
But I think at that point he'd already passed. I think he did. What they think is he'd gone to sleep and basically didn't wake up.
Yeah.
So it happened sometime during the night, but there's no way of knowing. We don't know. We don't know the timeline. So
it's really. And my circumstances are different, but similar in that I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
And this sounds like I'm doing a bit of self-promotion here, but there's a reason for this. I was interviewed by The Sun yesterday. All glamour in my world. They contacted me off the back of Michael Mosley's death, and they wanted just a kind of comment on it, really. Which, you know, as rent a widow, I was happy to oblige. But they ended up talking a lot about the lack of answers and how his widow must have felt in those few days where he wasn't found. And it brought up a lot for me about unanswered questions. And hearing you say this, you know, that poor Holly, poor Holly to even have that slither of question and to be
Yeah.
asked. So to be honest, if you ask me right now to perform CPR,
I don't think
I
I
don't know
could.
if I
And
could.
that is what I've tried to say to her. Don't feel guilty for something that you don't
You
know how
don't
to
know.
do.
No.
I know how to do it. Could I
Yeah.
have done it? I don't know.
Who
I
knows in
just
those
don't know. It's
circumstances?
terrifying.
And for you to know, and this is not me saying that you should feel guilt, but I know that there will be some guilt for you that you didn't
Yeah.
check on him that morning.
Yeah.
But this is again, I can relate to this because I didn't text Ben all day that day.
No.
Joked
No.
about him dying at the school playground.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was dead. Why would I?
No.
Those things don't cross your mind because
No,
you
they
haven't gone
don't.
through trauma yet. And
No.
even Holly seeing Dad's car on the drive and how she thought it was odd but not
Didn't panic.
concerning.
Yeah.
But
Didn't
I
panic.
bet you now, both of you would. It's every time a police car goes down my road,
I hate it.
I feel that knot of panic,
Yeah.
and it's that separation of before where something can be a little bit odd, but you're not scared of it. And
Yeah.
now any change in the norm
Oh, yeah.
and your fight or flight response kicks in so
Oh
hard.
yeah, everything is DEFCON 1. It's like
Yeah.
I've said to her, don't send me texts where it's mum, 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 because I'll just freak.
Yeah.
If I miss a phone call from somebody, it's
Oh
not,
my God, or they
it's
don't
not,
pick
oh, I've
up.
missed a phone call from Nan and Grandad. It's, oh no, what's wrong?
Mhm.
It's never a,
2 missed calls.
Yeah.
I am off the scale panic.
It's I think it's how it affects your brain chemistry. It's
Absolutely.
very different.
Yeah, we are completely different people now. We
Yeah.
are. You can't not be changed by
No.
that. No. And even things like the school, like I'll see him at school from the school and I'll go into complete panic. It'll be Hector doesn't have his PE kit or something like that. It won't,
Yeah.
but you feel, oh yeah, sorry, we got a tangent here. So you had to wait 4 hours before. So are you allowed in the house, but Holly's not allowed in the house?
I was in the house at this point on my own.
On your own?
I think my sister was floating around. She was sort of mediator between me and Holly. My brother-in-law came. That's my sister's husband. And I was very conscious of the fact that we live in a village. It's a small village. It's a gossipy village. It wouldn't take long for people to put 2 and 2 together. And I was really concerned about his parents finding out on social media.
Facebook, yeah. The idea of intrusion and the idea of people finding out before you've managed to tell the people that need to know. Similar. It's a small town where I lived at the time, and the press were interested. Of course, they were. It was interesting because it was scuba diving. It had all the traits of a good article, and I was I remember ringing Ben's colleagues, Ben's friends, because I didn't want them to find out that way.
Yeah.
And I know that you were just about to tell me then about calling his parents or letting his parents know. Now that's one hell of a phone call, right?
Yeah. Luckily my brother-in-law, very bravely, he was one of Nick's really good friends. He opted to go and tell Nick's brother, because obviously his brother wouldn't have known at this point. And then Jeremy, which is my brother-in-law, and Nick's brother Jamie, went over to tell Nick's mum and dad, which was horrendous. Nick's mum collapsed, which we found out later she had a heart attack.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. She wouldn't go to hospital that night because she just wanted to stay at home with Les. She didn't want to go anywhere. But yeah, she'd been having treatment for angina, but the shock of it pretty much caused her to have a small heart attack.
The poor woman.
Yeah, which was horrible. But all the while this is happening, I'm at home waiting. I remember the police saying, we have a living room. Our living room and stairs are like a bit like open plan. There's only a door separating the living room and the hallway. And they'd said to me, go and wait in the dining room. I got glass doors at the time. So they said, go and wait in the dining room because you don't want to see them bringing Nick downstairs. Which obviously at the time, you just stood in silence. You don't know what to say. Nobody knows what to say to you. Nobody's really talking to you. So I literally heard them carry him down every step.
Oh.
Which was just horrendous. And then once they'd taken his body away, that's when they allowed Holly to come home.
And why did they want her home? I mean, was it because of her age? Was it because of contamination? What was
I've
the
no
reason?
idea. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I know the police in that time while she was apart from me, the police did go to speak to her, and had a chat with her. I suppose sort of an interview of sorts, while she was with my sister. So she wasn't alone. She'd got somebody with her. But I think it was just pretty much asking the same sort of questions.
Yeah. So it's protocol, isn't it?
Yeah,
They
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 knew at
sort of
that
have
point
to
that there
do
was
it.
nothing untoward, but obviously they
Yeah.
have to ask the questions, I
Mate,
suppose.
it's a procedure. They
Yeah,
do. It's like them searching the house for Ben. They knew that I wasn't hiding him under the bed. It would have been a
no,
bit of a extravagant way to fake a
yeah,
death, that one. So you're allowed back to the house.
yeah.
So you must be into the evening now. You must be into late evening.
Yeah, it was probably about 7, 8 o'clock, I think. I had no concept of time for
No,
the first few days. It
no,
was literally just, I, I can't even remember. It was just a blur.
no. When
Um,
my mum moved in, my mum and dad moved in with me, I've had some prescription sleeping pills, and I was allowed one glass of red wine, sort of half an hour before I wanted to go to bed, and then she would keep my kind of sleep rhythm slightly in check.
yeah,
But without that, the day, night, who
yeah.
knew?
It
Who
just,
knew? Had
I
I
think
eaten?
we,
Had I washed?
yeah,
Who
I think
knows?
we probably didn't sleep for the first week properly. Um, it just so bizarre. I, it's not an experience I'd wish on anybody, because it's just the most strangest feeling ever.
It's like being in and I compare it because at the time Broadchurch was on, and I said I feel like I'm in Broadchurch. I feel
Yeah,
like this is like a docudrama or a BBC drama, and any minute I'm going to wake up and this is all fake, because it's that kind of chasm of before and after. There's
yeah,
no build up. There's no warm up to it. There's no you literally one day you have a husband who is alive, and the next
yeah,
day your husband is dead,
yeah.
and there's fuck all that you can do
No,
about it.
it's the most horrendous.
Your power, it's like having your power stripped, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what I felt. I have no control over anything because a terrible thing had happened and I couldn't do anything
yeah.
about it.
I mean, my sister literally, she didn't go home for the
Oh,
first probably 3 or 4 days. I mean, she's got children of her own, but she didn't go home. She stayed at our house with us. My mum lives in America, so she was trying desperately to get a flight home. She was a week before she could get home.
but she was frantic.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, there's no point rushing mum, because you can't.
Nothing you can do now.
Nothing's going to change what's happening.
Mm.
My auntie, and I remember my auntie came over, and my sister, and my dad, and all helped deal with the fallout, because you just don't know. I didn't know any of it. I'd not been through anything like this, so
No,
I had no idea of the concept. Obviously, because of the way Nick died, there had to be a post-mortem.
there's so much admin, isn't there? Like
Oh
an
yeah,
unexpected amount of
yeah.
admin.
Because I mean, look, I'm so pleased we were married at this point, because it made things so much easier, because neither of us had wills, so it was all a
No,
bit nightmare. But luckily, because we were married, it took a lot of the issues out of that for us.
it's such an old-fashioned concept, though, isn't it? That you have to, if you're not married, you're not protected. Because
Yeah,
same as you, Ben had been married before, and when they divorced, he changed his will so everything went to his mum,
yeah,
just as a sort of stopgap, I guess. And then
yeah,
it's one of those things on your list that you're
yeah,
going to do. We must
yeah,
book an appointment and do our wills. We must, and
yeah,
things like life insurance. I can remember saying to Ben, "Have you put that you smoke on your life insurance?" Because
yeah,
he was one of these smokers that was always he'd given up
yeah,
mostly, but he'd have the odd one.
yeah,
That gave me some of those back from the boat, didn't they? And he said yes, but of course I was thinking, but have you disclosed the fact that you scuba dive?
yeah,
Because that's going to put your premiums up. And so afterwards, and because of nobody, they wouldn't even tell me whether he had cover. So it's absolutely insane. But sorry, the reason we're saying that
yeah,
was because we were married, the will was invalid, and then
yes,
I
yeah,
inherited. But it took 2 years actually before life
yeah.
insurance came through.
We were really lucky. Everything from that point of view was really quick. I mean, the only thing we had a joint account, but Nick's wages went into his account and my wages went into my account,
Yeah,
and sort of filtered in. And so the money he'd got in his account was frozen. So I was like, well, that's brilliant, because I don't get paid. I've got no money here. So basically they said, well, you can pay for the funeral with it.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. Yeah, that's great. What am I supposed to buy shopping with then for the next few days? But luckily, obviously family and friends helped. There wasn't really much food shopping going on. I mean, even 2.5 years later, there's still not much food shopping
You know
going on.
what? I used to love cooking, and I don't know whether it's because cooking for 3 folks is a joyless experience, because unless it's pasta, they won't eat it.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's a lot of things that brought you joy before. And
yeah,
and actually,
definitely.
When somebody dies, there's also the really boring stuff. The bins still need to be emptied.
Yeah.
The bathroom needs to have a bit of bleach wafted around it occasionally. And those are the things that actually family and friends, when people say, what can I do for somebody? I'm just like, can you go and give their loo a clean, or empty the bins, do a food shop? Because
definitely.
It's the practicalities.
You're so much more prepared, I think, when you've been through it, to know what to do for somebody in the same boat. I mean, a group of friends that obviously mum's through school, in the very unfortunate situation that there's now 3 of us that have lost husbands.
No.
So
God,
they
what's
were really
in the water
good
up there?
Yeah, because I know they sort of, the first few days were pretty good at picking me up and saying the things that I needed to hear, really. And they were sort of saying, have you done this? Have you tried that? Have you got in touch with these people? Because obviously they've been through it.
Have you heard of the term grief Sherpa?
Yeah,
that's what they were for you then. They were your grief Sherpas. How lovely.
One probably still is. She's always checking in every week, so she'll check in and just say, how's things? I've not heard from you. It's a bit difficult now they're at comp, because it's not
secondary school. It's so different.
Yeah, it's not quite the close knit mumhood that we had when they were at junior school, but they're still there. I still see them on a regular basis. So
I'm really pleased that you had that, because again, I can only speak from personal experience, so I always feel bad. I'm like, my experience.
Yeah.
But I was the first one, and it was it was a bit scary, because nobody really knew what to do with me. And so what I did is I sort of masked up and pretended I was okay, and alcohol, and and actually that I now realise was probably the worst thing I could have done.
Yeah.
But like you say, we don't know. I've never had a dead husband before. I didn't know how to react.
No, definitely not.
And how was... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you carry
on. We're too polite now. I was just going to ask how Holly was in the kind of immediate aftermath, because she's a little older than my children were, but one of my oldest is quite grown up, and he even back then was very aware that it was almost like a party, and why people bringing presents because dad has died. And I'm just wondering, as a teenager as well, you've got a lot of going on already. I'm wondering how she felt being under the spotlight.
She didn't like it. Absolutely didn't like it. Holly hates anything like that. I mean, she is a COVID child, so her secondary education was disrupted completely because of COVID. So she'd gone back in year 9, hoping to knuckle down, get some school, be there, be in school and attending school, and then a week into school, she lost her dad. So it just hasn't panned out for Holly at all. School has took a nosedive. She absolutely detests school now with a passion. It's just a reminder of a very, very bad experience for Holly.
I'm going to talk to you about this afterwards, but I hear a lot of this, and I don't know whether it's an option for you, whether it's online schools. One that I know of, another widow, her son attends it, and it's called I think it's called King's Inter High, and you do pay, but there is also you can access some funding. It's called EOTA. So I'll message you about.
She's not too bad now. She's
all right. Sorry, I've really done.
No. Today is her last exam.
Oh,
so she is done. So
so there will be a celebratory burning of the tie, and
yes, definitely. So she's finished this afternoon.
But she made it through.
Yes.
She made it.
Yes, she did. I mean, year 10 and 11 have been much better for her. School haven't been great. They are not understanding in the slightest. They have picked apart time off. We've had issues with attendance. They had her in to see the school counsellor quite early on. Which for Holly was just an
Too
absolutely
soon?
horrendous experience. Well, yeah, too soon. It was literally probably about 12 weeks after Dad had gone. She had about 6 sessions with the counsellor, and I think on about 6th session, the counsellor said at the end of the meeting, she said, "So, Holly, how would you feel when your mum brings a new boyfriend home?"
Shut up.
No, and Holly was just horrendous, and she shut down completely. She came home, and I had about a week of her being an absolute nightmare. And eventually, I got to the bottom of what the problem was, and that triggered just horrendous thoughts for her.
And a concept that is completely inappropriate for a
Yes,
therapist to talk
yeah,
about. It's none of her business.
no,
And B, if at some point in your life you were to meet somebody, that's an issue for you and Holly to talk about, right? When
yeah,
it happens,
yeah,
not in the
no,
immediate aftermath of her death. Somebody told me, in fact, they said to my mum at Ben's funeral, "Oh, she's still young and beautiful. She'll meet somebody else." And my mum was like, "Don't say that to her."
no, no. It's like no. It's no. And then I said to Holly, "You don't have to worry about it because that is not on my radar anytime soon." It's no.
No, and it's just such it's not something that a 13-year-old girl needs to be thinking
No,
about anyway. And
no.
I mean, it's this kind of thing that if you were in the future to meet somebody, then she might take that to a counsellor and talk it through,
Yeah.
right? That's the
Oh, yeah.
process. You
Yeah,
don't just
definitely.
oh my God. Do you
But
know what? Some
it
counsellors, you wonder
yeah,
how they got their bloody
it kind of
license.
put her off the whole counselling experience.
Yeah.
That it made it really difficult. I mean, we've been waiting for quite a while. There's not much in South Yorkshire for children that are suffering with grief. There's phone calls, but then you get different. Like when Holly has tried to phone you get a different person every time. It's not continuity of somebody that's listening. She finds that really difficult. There's a long waiting list for
Does she
crews.
game? Does she online game? She play computer games?
Yeah, she does a little bit. Probably not as much now as she did first off. She did a lot of that with her friends and a cousin.
The reason, again, I'm sorry, I keep dropping resources on you, but it's so there's a company called Mind Jam, and they're not therapists, they're more like mentors, and they
Yeah.
talk and they play computer games, and that's been really helpful for one of my boys. But and John's with my stepdaughter, she does online counselling now, which works really well for her because I
Yeah.
think they are the kind of Zoom generation, aren't they? It's not
Yeah,
weird for them.
definitely.
But it is really hard. And actually, I'm trying to access some counselling for my youngest because she's just gone through the diagnosis process, and
Yeah.
I want to just make sure she's supported. And yeah, I was looking for play therapists, and there's so few out there. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I retrain here. There's a clear gap in the market.
Yeah, Holly did have a bit of play therapy, which was all right, but she said it's not really for me. It's not working.
It's got to be the right person and the right type of therapy.
But she's now. I mean, she was referred to CAMHS fairly early on in the process, but it's taken a very long time to get her seen. She is under their care now. She is seeing. She has a counsellor that's assigned to her that she's been seeing regularly for about a year now. She has a CBT therapist that she sees once a week, who is very nice. That's online. But he's just given her a little bit of it. She's had about a 6-week break for her exams because it was just too much to deal with everything all at once. And this week she's seen the psychiatry team. So she's getting the help. It's been slow coming.
I'm also going to interrupt you, Kelly, because I know that you will have had to fight for every single bit of help that you have got here because it doesn't get offered. So I'm just going to take a moment and just kind of, give you a metaphoric fist bump in solidarity because I know how hard you will have worked to get support for Holly.
Yeah.
And I think that tells me a huge amount about who you are as a mum.
It's really hard. It's definitely a provision that's not, there's just not enough. The doctors their hands are tied. There's nothing really a doctor can do apart from refer you, which is great. But the referral process took about 18 months. At this point, you've got a teenager that's struggling, that's got such low self-esteem, really bad issues. She's suffering from PTSD. She has anxiety. She has panic attacks. She's got a really poor body image. Lots of things that are going on that you just want to be able to help them, because there's nothing really, every time I say something, but Holly, I love you. Yeah, but you're my mum. You've got to say that. And it's like, please don't say that you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, because you're not. Yeah, I am.
I think if you were to just play her the way you described her at the very beginning of this episode, I don't know whether if you wanted to listen to the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I would highly recommend that you
Yeah.
play that clip and I'll even make it into a clip for you if you want, because the way you described her made me, I said to you, you're going to make me cry, because that's how I feel about my children. They drive me mental, of course they do, but
of course they do, yeah. But you'd do anything for them.
And they're amazing people as well.
Yeah.
You know, and you just look, you are actually pretty cool people.
Yeah. She's been through such a lot, but she is still a fun, kind, generous, lovely person. She is if you've got Holly in your lives, you're a very lucky person.
You are going to make me cry.
Yeah.
I hope you might try and bring her to Woodstock, actually, because I'd love to meet her.
She is lovely. She's one of the kindest people that I know. She always thinks about others first.
It's a horrible thing when we say that, the coal, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and adversity makes you, stronger, and all this sort of stuff. And I certainly didn't want to hear this, and sometimes I still don't. And I certainly didn't want to hear it around my kids, in terms of my kids. But I actually have recorded some episodes with grown adults now who lost a parent. And you do realise actually just how much, because I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, brace. We talk about the lack of resources and things, because in the past, the way a parental death was dealt with was you just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Pictures were removed. They were, because nobody wanted to upset you. And now, of course, we know that the more you talk about it, the more you process it, your healing will be.
Yeah.
And sorry, I really have gone on a tangent here. But the fact that you are having to fight to get support, but also the fact that you are able to maintain a relationship with your daughter where she feels that she can trust you, she can be open with you, and she can talk about the things that are scaring her, because no shit, right? Like she felt her dad dead, like the poor little thing. And it's going to manifest in I don't know whether it's a female thing, I don't know, but that kind of self-loathing, and it's like, I've got nowhere to put all these feelings, so I'm going to put them in. And I hate that we do that to ourselves as humans. I'm so glad that she's got you.
Yeah, she has a lot of nightmares, which is difficult. It's really hard, because it's just a play by play. It's not necessarily anything. It can be the same nightmare. It's recurring. And she sleeps very little because she's constantly worried, and she wakes up and she comes to check on me because she's scared. She's absolutely terrified.
Real attachment.
Yeah. She's worried when I drive to work. She's watching, she's tracking me on Life 360 the whole time. Whenever I go out, she's watching where I am. And to some people they'd find that really weird, but I think for a child that's been through what she's been through, it's perfectly normal.
I've actually written down the name Julie Stonehouse as you were talking then, because I don't know whether you've come across Julie. She has been a guest on the pod, and she's a lovely woman. And her daughter, very similar. She needed to know, I don't know, and things may have changed now, but she needed to know where she was at all times. And it was just her and her daughter. And I'm wondering whether, because my kids, there is a definite attachment. They worry about me. They're very in tune to my moods, my mental health. So I sometimes worry that more than they should be. Their children, I want them to just have a normal, happy, blissful
you just
childhood.
want them to be happy, don't you? Yeah.
But is there such a thing, really?
No.
And we couldn't protect them from the terror, the bad thing, the big bad thing. We couldn't. The only thing we can do now is walk with them, hold their hand as we kind of go through it together, because we're grieving too. And I guess doing it as a unit instead of separately is part of the process of healing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, she does every now and again. She'll open up and something else will come out that she's remembered or thought about, and we'll talk it through. She's pretty good. Obviously, because of the way her dad died, now we know she had to have a lot of tests.
I was going to ask you that actually about genetic testing.
Yeah, which was a bit frightening. She was very scared of something happening to her, and then her leaving me. Not necessarily me leaving her. She was worried that something might happen to her.
Yeah, she doesn't want to cause you any more pain because she's lovely.
Yeah. And a lot of Holly's issues. She's not talked about it because well, we neither of us have actually. We're both really bad because it's you don't want to upset the other. One doesn't want to upset the other, so we don't talk very much.
I find car journeys are good. Do you?
Yeah. Every now and again, we'll have a good chat, but
Yeah,
no,
you've
for
got to
the
go when
most
they're
part,
vulnerable.
for the most part, it's just we're just carrying on.
But there is something to be said for that because they need continuity, they need routine, and they need to see that a terrible, big, bad thing can happen.
Yes.
But you still get up, you dust yourself down and you keep fucking going because the alternative is too horrible to contemplate, right?
Yeah, it is really horrible. I can remember about a week after Nick died, I went to a family party with his family. Holly was going to a concert with my two nieces. So she'd gone off to the concert, I'd gone to the party, and Nick's mum, this is when we found out that she'd had a heart attack previously. She had another heart attack while we were at the party.
Oh, God.
And it was literally round the corner. Yeah.
She's still around, is she?
Yeah. Literally round the corner from the hospital. And this is where the Life 360 comes in, because she was obviously checking where I was and said, "Oh, I'm just at the party. It's all good. Why are you at the hospital?"
Caught in a lie by your teenager.
Yes. So I was like, well, Nanan's not very well, so we've just come round to the hospital, but don't worry. But obviously she worried. And she shouted at me for that because I'd not told where I was.
I told Monty the police were there for the dog on the night the police came, and it took a long time for him to forgive me from that. They hold a grudge, these kids, right?
Yeah, she did. She was like, "You should have told me that Nana was very well." And I was like, "I didn't want to upset you." Yeah, I didn't want to upset her. But yeah, she wasn't very happy about that.
So Kelly, you mentioned that that Holly had to have some genetic testing. And that must have come about from the results of the inquest. So at this point, the point that Nick died, you know that he's died in his sleep. And I lost a friend, actually, my best friend from university, and he died in his sleep. And it's sudden adult death syndrome, which is sort of like adult cot death.
Yeah, that's kind of what we thought might have come of it, because when they did his initial post-mortem, I can't say that word. When they initially did it, they obviously said there was nothing really untoward, but they did say that his heart was twice the size of a normal human heart.
Okay.
So they asked at that point. Well, they actually told me the interim death certificate said he died from cardiomyopathy.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, right, okay, it's a heart issue. We understand that. But they said when they weighed his heart, and they said, I think his heart was about 500 grams. And I think a normal human heart's about 210.
Wow.
So it was huge. He had a big heart anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say he had a big heart.
Had a big heart anyway, but yes. It was a lot bigger. So they asked if I would mind if his heart was sent away to a specialist.
Another question you didn't expect to be asked in your early 40s.
Yeah, so I said, no, of course not. And they said, but it could take a while. Are you happy that his heart will be separate to the rest of his body? And I was like, well, I'm not leaving him in the fridge for 12 weeks. Let's put it that way. I said, so yes, it's fine. His heart can go to be tested, and I'll have his remains back so we can have a funeral. So this all took a lot longer because they couldn't decide what it was he died from. We were only issued with an interim death certificate, but that allowed us to get everything done. He still had a funeral. We were still able to do all that. Obviously, so all the admin out was able to be done from there.
Sadmin, that's sad.
But yeah, it took them till December, I think, when we finally got a definite diagnosis of what he died from, which I absolutely cannot say it.
I was going to say, we got this written down phonetically.
Yeah, he died from idiopathic left ventricular hypertrophy. Don't know if that's the right word.
Rolls off the tongue, that, doesn't it?
Yes. So idiopathic means it's a quick onset. It's not something that happens fast. It's not something that happens slowly. They think it came on very quickly, but I don't know.
And does that give you a bit of comfort? Because couldn't have been caught or detected?
Nick was a terrible person to never go into the doctors. It didn't matter what. I mean, it said a few. Well, it bit for months had been tired and extra sleepy, and it just put it down to the workload at work. He'd always have a bright red face, Nick, all the time. Whenever he was around, he'd have a really red face. Which, yeah, now probably looking in hindsight, it was probably high blood pressure. But
Hindsight's useless.
you don't know. He was young. It didn't feel ill. He was just tired.
Yeah.
But that's what they think.
And who isn't tired in their 40s,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
And I think before something like this happens, you're not looking for, like we mentioned it earlier, you're not looking for the danger at the time. You're just, I would just be saying, come on, pull yourself together,
Yeah.
You've got to get up.
Yeah. So from that, obviously they said it could be a genetic heart condition. It might not be. We don't know. But obviously this and the fact that Nick's mum had also had 2 heart attacks.
Yeah.
They just said, no, we want everybody to come for genetic testing. So Holly's had it, my nephew's had it, and Nick's brothers had it.
Are they all clear?
They were Nick's brother and my nephew are, they were happy. They were happy with that. They want to monitor Holly more closely, just because it was a dad.
Yeah, so direct.
So she's already had a lot of the testing done. She's had lots of bloods taken, and she's worn a trace. She's had a ultrasound on her heart, which they said all looks fine. She does have a little heart skipping sensation every now and again, but they said that's perfectly normal. But she's got to be monitored again when she gets to 18.
But even stuff like this makes you feel a bit different as a kid, doesn't it? Even having to have all this done.
Yeah.
And
she panics now. She's a runner, Molly. She's just recently taken up running.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, which is good for her. It's really good for, she's finding it clears her head.
It saved me when Ben died. It saved me, and I'm not a runner, and I didn't enjoy the running at all.
No, I don't think she does particularly, but I think it's the quiet. I think it's the it's
silence
taking
herself everything down.
Yeah. But she keeps saying, "Oh, Mum, my heart hurts when I come home," and I'm like, "But is that because you're unfit?
Is that because you're knackered, or are you having a heart attack? Hang on a minute.
Is that because you're not fit enough yet, or are you just starting to sort of get
my heart hurts when I run?
Psychosomatic symptoms?" So, but yeah, she is enjoying it. But I said, just keep your eye on it. If we feel like it's happening all the time, they basically said, just contact us.
And make a nuisance of yourselves, right? Just
nothing is too much trouble. If you are concerned about something, then just ring us. And they'll monitor till she's 25, I think they said.
So is that the time that your heart must be fully grown then, presumably? Look at me asking you like you're a doctor.
Don't
tell me. Well, you know how much the average heart weighs, so you are practically a doctor.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No, not me. Well, we have, so Holly's mum died from a genetic form of mutation, bowel cancer.
Yeah.
And so did her grandfather.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we can't have her tested until she's 18.
That's
so
ridiculous.
I think that's a really strange rule, because yes, the impact, and also imagine telling an 18-year-old if it's not the news we want, because I know that at 18 I would have gone, ooh.
Yeah.
So it's something we've got to sort of think about how we're going to approach as she gets older.
Yeah.
But also you'd think knowledge is power. Like
it is. And I can remember when we started trying to have Holly, when we decided we wanted a baby, my auntie was at the time going through IVF, and it came to light because I think they wanted to do egg donation to help fund the IVF treatment. And it came to light that she carries the cystic fibrosis gene. And they just happened to say, is there anybody in your family that's trying for children or has had children recently? So she said, yeah, my niece is trying to have a baby. So they said, well, we'd advise you to go and get checked because my auntie carries it. So there's a very real chance that I carry it too. And obviously, Nick had to be tested as well to see if he carries it, because it makes it a 1 in 2 chance if you both carry it. So we went for the genetic testing, and I do carry it. It comes from obviously from my mum. So my mum's a carrier. So that it's very interesting because then it sort of snowballs, because then my sister had to be tested. So she needed to know for her children, but my sister doesn't carry it, but I do. So Holly will have to be tested for it later on in life. But knowledge is power.
Genetics, man.
Yeah,
Like
knowledge is
humans
power.
love
Like
passing
I
bad
said,
stuff to each
you
other.
know it. You know that it's there. You know that I carry it. There's a chance you carry it. You just go and have. It's a simple blood test. It's nothing to be scared of.
Yeah,
So
I completely agree.
She's fully aware that that's a thing.
But I think, knowledge is power. And if, say, for example, we knew for a fact that Holly had this gene, then we could adapt her diet.
Yes.
There's things
Yeah.
that won't necessarily. Perhaps they would feel like we were taking power back. Perhaps it's all about us.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
you feel it's one of those things that makes you feel completely out of control. And I know that needing to feel some control. And actually, when you talk about Holly and things like not wanting to be at school and things that I can feel that's a light where you feel out of control, isn't it? You just need some. It's things you can control and things like your body image and stuff like. But I think for me, running, I don't run anymore. Actually, I have a hip injury that means I just hurt myself every time I run. But I do walk a lot, and running for me in terms of my mental health was one of the best things I've ever done. I find yoga works, but I don't know. Like I'm really crap at doing that at home.
Yeah.
If I just roll around on the floor and stretch a bit and call it yoga, that'll do.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, she's enjoying it, which is good. I think she'll find. I mean, she might only do it for a short period of time.
Doesn't matter.
If it helps just in the short term. But I think she's definitely aware because of the way that Nick died. She's aware.
Heart health.
Yeah, that it's good for you, and she needs to strengthen her heart, and she just needs to take notice of the body, and she needs to be aware of things. But like I said, in the same breath, you are 16.
Yeah.
Be a 16-year-old.
And actually, at 16, to be taking that sort of responsibility for herself, and I think just so we've got through her GCSEs, I hope
I'm so proud of her.
Are you doing something nice this evening to celebrate?
Yeah, we're going away this weekend, so that'll be nice.
Anywhere nice?
We have a caravan. So we had a caravan when me and Nick were together, and we gave it up when he died because we just like, no, can't do this. I just can't do it. We'd literally been away in the van the weekend before he died, and I couldn't even bear to look at it. I never went back in it. It was emptied by somebody else. It was sold by somebody else. But then last year we were like, no, we're going to do it on our own.
I love it.
So we do. So I had a few towing lessons, and there you go. I'm away.
That's what scares me, the towing. I took the boys, we sort of did a divide and conquer over half term, because sometimes when you're a big fan, it's quite nice to spend time individually. I took the boys to I said it was a caravan. Nobody else says it's a caravan. That's a chalet. I was like, no, it's a caravan. It said it was a caravan on the website. and we had so much fun though. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And I would like to do more of that with my kids, just go off and do sort of a bit more adventuring, because I am by nature I'm not risk averse, actually. I'm quite a risk taker, but when it comes, I think since Ben died, you get quite frightened to do these things.
Yes.
We're going out on the water. We went paddleboarding when we were away, and I have done it several times with them, but it takes a lot to get on the water. It does, because
I can imagine. Yeah, it does, and it's difficult, but like Holly enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and it gets us out of the house. I mean, we still live in our house that we were in because Holly just flat out refuses. I said early doors, if you don't want to stay in the house, we can sell it. It's fine. It's just a home.
Just a house.
Yes, just a house. It doesn't matter. No, absolutely not. I want to stay here. It's been my home my entire life. I've never known anything else. So I'm like, fine.
And how do you find being there? Are you happy there, or do you find it has too much sort of pain?
No, I'm happy here because Nick was proud of home. He was proud of what he'd achieved. So yeah, it's not something I'd leave unless I needed to.
No,
really. And I don't need to. So
I moved because initially I wasn't going to, because just the cost of moving was just so vast. So I did a lot of work to the house and sort of change the feel of it, as it were.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't our forever home, and I think had we been at the next house along, because you know you do, don't you, buy the
Yeah.
house, build up.
Yeah.
I think that it was more of a, I would say you've got a head house and your heart house, and it was very much a head house.
Yeah.
So I didn't have such a huge emotional attachment
No.
to it. Weirdly, the tiny 2-bedroom, literally 2 up, 2 down Victorian terrace that we had before, that's my heart house.
Yeah.
That's where we had our boys. That's where we, before everything kind of went went to shit, let's just be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've done lots of changes. We've done lots of work in the house to make it how we wanted it, but also how Nick wanted it. The things that he's got planned for it, that he wanted to do. That it was, one day when we can afford it, we're going to do that. So obviously when he died and I was able to pay the mortgage off, I was like, that's what we're doing with that money.
Well, Ben and I were planning to move to Devon, as it happens, from Kent. And we once must have had a really kind of light conversation about, well, you know, if we don't move, we'll take the back off the house and we'll open up the kitchen. And as I was doing, I was like, this is what we were going to do. Like, so you feel like you can't live your life honouring somebody, because that's a very restricted way to live. But I do sometimes like to do things, and I can feel that he would approve, or that he would be proud of me.
I think Nick would. And he'd be proud of us as well for getting out and going out with a caravan and doing things. I mean, we're going to see my mum in a few weeks. We're going to,
in America?
Holly's off. Yes, Holly's obviously got the summer off. So we're having an extended stay. We're going for 3 weeks. Luckily, I have a company. I work for a company that are very understanding.
So you can work from home while you're there.
They say that I can remotely work while I'm there for some of the time.
Wonderful.
So yeah, they've been really, really good.
And wonderful that you're doing it as well. I reread my wedding speech. It wasn't my wedding speech, it was my funeral speech.
Yeah.
And because I showed it to a friend who'd not seen it. And one of the things I say in there is, I can't parrot it exactly, but it was something I promised to show you on adventures and show you what a wonderful world awaits. And I think that is something that is quite difficult to do, because you feel it's very scary doing on your own.
Yes,
especially if you've had somebody like you had by your side since you were 15.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have the finance. You think, oh, I can't do that because it's really expensive to do it. But actually, this caravan holiday I went on was pretty reasonable, and that was enough. They loved it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd prefer 2 weeks in Thailand, but 2 nights in a caravan, sometimes that's enough to give you that feeling of having had a break and an adventure together.
We've not done too badly. We've had a few holidays. This will be the first. I know we're going to see Mum, but this will be the first solo holiday where it's just me and Holly going. We've been with family for the last 2 years. So yeah,
I reckon you'll have a great time. Yeah, where in America are you going?
We're going. My mum lives in Pensacola, so it's Florida.
Florida. Yeah, we went to Florida last year.
It's where all the beaches are. So
nice. See, we stayed in Orlando, and I have to say I did not like being in Orlando. I've had it very built up, and
Holly doesn't like busy things.
Holly, me and Holly, we're on the same wavelength.
It just does her head in. She just can't go.
I booked a hotel.
This is just too much.
We were in a villa there, and it was one of these really kind of soulless, like, rent a villa for Disney, basically, this kind of block square. And we went down to oh my God, it's totally dropped out my head. Naples, and had 2 nights on the coast there.
Yeah.
And it was just lovely just to see the sunsets. And I'm much more of a sort of beachy, like hippie traveller than
yeah, me too.
So I'm very much with Holly. I would much prefer to go somewhere with a beach and a bit of space. And bizarrely, considering how Ben died, sea, I love to be near the sea. I feel a calling to it. I think I was a mermaid in a former life.
It's calming though, isn't it? It's. I think you look for anything that's calm now.
Yeah.
We both weren't really party animals. I can't say that we were. We've always liked being at home. We're both happy, sat watching a film, not really bothered.
And I realised I just said we are going to wrap up. I just have another question to ask you. And you and Nick, was that what you were like? Were you quite homebodies? You like to just be together, or did you tend to?
No. I've always been a homebody. Nick was out and about. Nick was the kind of person that go shopping. He did shopping, hence why I hate food shopping.
Always online. I can only do
it
online.
It was Nick's excuse to go to the pub, because he's the only person I know that could go to the food shop and it'd take 2 hours. I go in and it takes me probably about 40 minutes. You whiz round and you're out. No, Nick could be gone for 2 hours. But
And
he'd
would he be
always,
chatting to
yeah,
people?
oh
Yeah.
yeah. I've seen somebody, I've called and so, I'm in the pub, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Holly, because I work full time, Holly always spent a lot of time with her dad in the afternoon, and he'd often take her to the beer garden. And so we'd be walking around the local shop, and they'd be like, these people going, "Hi, Holly, you all right?" And I'd be like,
Oh, how do you know them? From the
who's
pub?
that? Who is that?
I can still remember being in the pub garden with a bottle of Coke and a straw with my dad.
Yeah.
But
I'm
no,
glad now, looking back on it, she's got those. It used to get me so mad. At the time, I'd be like, "Don't want her in a beer garden," but now I'm so glad that they did have that time. It's one of the things that you look back on and you think, "Why didn't we do that more often?"
And actually, when you were saying then just about how because he was home in the afternoons when Holly came home, and I had a similar thing with Ben in that he worked abroad for around a week, a month, but he'd be around a lot of the other times. He'd help school runs, didn't?
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't help with dinner, but so crowd control.
Yeah.
And so Ben would be away, and then he would be back, and so he was quite a big presence particularly in the boys' lives because Tabby was only 6 months, and initially I felt that they suffered more because of that, because how many people do you know whose children don't really see the dads? Like the dads get home after they're in bed, they might kiss them goodnight, might take them to football Saturday. But I'm in a place where I'm so glad that they had that, because they
definitely
know that he was with them as much as he possibly could be. The reason he ran the business the way he did was so that he could be home more than he was away. So I think the time that they had, it's not fair because it was far too short. But Nick sounds like very much like Ben was, in that he was a hands-on dad, and the fact that Holly got that, I think it's a tiny, tiny comfort in a great chasm of grief. But
definitely,
there's a glimmer, right?
Yeah. She's got some lovely memories with her dad, which is great. It's what you want, really, isn't it?
We've got lots of photos.
No.
I've got slight guilt about the lack of photos.
Guilt. Real guilty with photos, because I'm probably the worst person in the world to comment on Holly's body image, because mine is terrible.
You're terrible too,
so
but you're
I'm
so
always
pretty
behind the camera. So there's lots of photos of Nick and Holly, and Holly and other people, but not so many of me. And like now she's at the age where she doesn't want photos taken unless she can filter everything. And I'll say, do you know, one day you'll look back on it and you'll be like, oh, I wish I'd had that photo with my mum. So I guilt trip her into it now.
Well, I say to my eldest, I'm like, it's just for me. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's just for me. And one day you'll be glad I took it. Like how many pictures are there of us as kids, with a pudding basin haircut and a dodgy tartan outfit on? So they have to suffer too.
She wouldn't let me take a last day of school photograph.
Oh.
She's like, no, because you'll put it on Facebook and I don't want anybody to see it. And I'm like, I won't. It's for me.
I promise.
I promise I won't. It's for me. And she's like, okay, then I'll do one. She hasn't done it yet. So I said, if you don't take one today, if you don't take one today, you will not get a chance to.
No, I don't have one. I still have my shirts that everybody wrote on, and there's some quite rude bits on it. Yeah. Anyway, Kelly, it has been and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'm sorry that our paths have crossed because of the death of our husbands.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that you have managed to find some humour and some joy for life again. And I think those things are so integral to building back not your own life, but your daughter's life as well. And I wish you so much love and happiness together. And that sounds like you're getting married.
Yeah, well,
for you and Holly on your special day.
Get married to your daughter.
For you and Holly, as you navigate this kind of next bit of teenagerdom, can you just report back and tell me how awful it is, please? And I hope we will stay in touch. I'm going to message you because I've got a couple of things I want to send you, and also try and bring her to the festival, because I think you should really get on with the kids that are coming. I think it'd be really nice to meet her.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
So for now, anybody who has been affected by today's episode, you know what to do. You can reach out to me directly, and I can ask Kelly any questions if you'd like me to. But for now, keep on keeping on out there, and I will be back with you in a couple of weeks with the next episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank you for listening. If you found this episode helpful, hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if you think someone else may benefit from this, please do share. We'd also really appreciate a quick review. It helps more people find the show. Thank you again, and see you next time on Widowed AF.